And I remember like it was, and at this point, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading a bunch of books, I'm really trying to better myself just in general in life. Like I'm a young adult. I'm probably 21 years old at this point, and like just trying
Yep.
to learn, about life. And I remember having this thought one day. It's like 110 degrees out in Oklahoma. I'm on the roof of probably like Woodland Hills Mall or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, the owner of Linux is probably on his like yacht right now, and I'm out here like pulling up a 500-pound compressor up to this roof. Like
Yeah.
this sucks.
Welcome to another episode of Fun Flip Repeat. Today we are joined with a builder of people, a builder of companies, and a builder in our community. Somebody who's been investing in Oklahoma for many, many years, a personal friend. And today we're going to be going deep into building businesses and real estate investments, the good, the bad, the ugly, the time spent, the money invested, and some of the scar tissues along the way. So I'm really, really excited about this episode. And with that, I have the honor and privilege to introduce to you Logan Haskett. Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So we'll just dive right into it, man. So briefly, how did you get started in real estate, and what was the moment you decided, hey, this is going to be the path for me?
Yeah, it kind of takes me all the way back to high school. I had read The Art of the Deal by Donald Trump, and that was like kind of my first introduction into real estate. And I had heard, from people online or whatever, like you got to get into real estate. And so I always knew I wanted to get into real estate. I just didn't know what my pathway was. But I started out as I'm an HVAC technician by trade. So that's what
Okay.
I went to school for. I went to HVAC school. I got like the good job out of college. I worked for Linux, and I ran like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, parts of Missouri too. So did that, and it was working, during the summer in HVAC,
Yeah.
you work a lot. And
Yeah.
so, and I remember like it was, and at this point, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading a bunch of books. I'm really trying to better myself just in general in life. Like I'm a young adult. I'm probably 21 years old at this point, and like just trying
Yep.
to learn, about life. And I remember having this thought one day. It's like 110 degrees out in Oklahoma. I'm on the roof of probably like Woodland Hills Mall or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, the owner of Linux is probably on his like yacht right now, and I'm out here like pulling up a 500-pound compressor up to this roof. Like
Yeah.
this sucks. And
100%.
so I knew there was something more. And if you want me to like dive deep into the whole story, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah. Share what you feel you want to share, man.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, I'm just like constantly doing research. And, I grew up in Kansas City. I moved to Tulsa for HVAC school. And
Okay.
so I had a buddy in Kansas City. He kept posting like these checks, like these $20,000, $30,000 checks. And I was like, dude, like, what are you doing? And he's like, man, I'm wholesaling real estate. And so then I started looking to wholesaling and started to do it, like try to do it on my own. And it was like, looking back now, it's so funny how you do things when you don't know what you're doing, which is fine because I'm a huge proponent of like to be successful, you have to look stupid at first. And still to this day, like
Yeah.
I 100% believe that. But
Yeah.
like I'll give you an example. I was giving people offers based on what Tulsa County assessor said the value was because I didn't even know how to run comps on Zillow. Like I was just like, oh, the house is worth.
Oh, brother, I love that.
So that's what I was doing. And then I ran into a mentor of mine. His name's Tommy Holt. I think he lives in like Thailand now or something crazy. But I remember I was telling him, he was like, well, how are you getting your values? And I was like, I'm going on the assessor.
Oh my gosh.
He was like, dude, you need to stop. He's like, I don't care if you, join my program or, he was like, you need some help. He was like, you got the right ideas. Like, I love that you're cold calling and you're trying to do it. But I ended up joining his program because it was like $49 a month, which is literally all I could probably afford at the time.
What a great
Dude,
deal, man. Holy cow.
dude, such a good deal.
49.
Like, and
Could you get,
this
I
guy had
calculate the ROI
probably,
on that?
yeah, infinite, right? I mean, it probably had like, I don't know, like 500 hours of content at least. And he would like release all different kinds of things that, Airbnb stuff, raising private capital, like all this
Mhm.
stuff. And I ended up becoming literally, I mean, I'm sure if you talk to him today, he'd say, yeah, Logan's probably my top student out of my program.
No, I believe that.
So I just like And that brings me to like a thing that I live my life by this. Like if someone knocks on the door with an opportunity, like maybe open it, and
Yeah.
just run with it. And
Yeah.
luckily Tommy's a good personal friend of mine now, and yeah, man, that's how I got into real estate at first.
Love it.
That's awesome. Well,
Love it, man.
Joel knocked on my door with an opportunity. I had to make the decision to open that door. I love you
There you
sharing that
go.
story, Logan, too, because I bet you weren't the only one that started that way, but not everyone's willing to admit the, maybe silly stuff that they did,
Yeah.
And you had the hard part down, which is the grit part.
Yeah.
The fine tuning of the process is the easy part, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, okay.
Exactly.
So thinking about these two lanes that you've lived in, right? You've got a service company, but then you also are investing in
Mhm.
real estate. Those are maybe intertwined in some ways, but they're also
Yeah.
super different, right? So you're working different muscles at these two businesses. What would you say, if you
100%.
look
Yeah.
at both industries, what would you say they are teaching you uniquely that, the HVAC company couldn't teach you about real estate, or the real estate investing couldn't teach you about HVAC?
I would say, like, specifically for the HVAC company, that real estate definitely didn't teach me. Well, I don't know. They're kind of intertwined, but I would say there's such a different there's such a difference between how you talk to
Yeah.
people in real estate and how you would sell someone an HVAC condenser. Because my favorite saying in the HVAC company is like, no, if Joel calls me for an HVAC unit today and our team goes and installs it, he's not gonna invite his friends over and say, "Dude, come look at my new HVAC unit," right? It's a really hard thing to sell because you can't show it off. So,
Yeah.
we get a car and it's a badass car. Well, that's something that we want to show all of our buddies and everything.
Yeah.
But you're talking about one of the most expensive appliances in your home that they don't care, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to look at it. It's kind of ugly. And so the skills to be able to sell something like that are vastly different than real
Mhm.
estate, right? Because real estate I can make look really pretty, and everyone wants to show off their house and, look at me, look at what my family's done, look at what we bought. Like, please come have dinner over at the house, but they're not going to show you their HVAC unit. So it's a
That makes
different skill
sense.
set for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love that you're playing to your strengths in both. You're playing games in both avenues, right? So the real estate investing and the HVAC business. But scaling a company is messy, right? We know that,
Oh yeah.
obviously. Like, what's the hardest part of going from operator to owner in your mind?
Probably letting go of, like, being able to fully trust people to take over certain positions in your
Mm.
company. But once you find the right people, you realize, like, what was I waiting so long for, There's once you can tap into people, and that's why I say I'm a builder of people. Once you can tap into them, find their strengths, and let them explode, that's when your whole business changes. And this is where a lot of businesses mess up when they're starting or trying to scale, is a lot of people have a huge ego when they want to be the face of the company, and they want to make sure everyone knows they're the owner and I'm the one that made this bid or whatever. Like, honestly, I could care less if someone didn't think I was the owner or thought I was a technician. Like, I don't care. I'm the owner, I'm not a technician. But if they wanted to think something else, that's fine. But once you give people responsibility, and a sense of responsibility, like, hey, no, this is your thing. Like, you want, like, make people feel important because they are important. Like, everybody's important. But a lot of people get treated like trash at their jobs, right? They're micromanaged to a T. Like, they don't have a say for anything inside of the company. So how much effort are they going to put into that job versus working for me when I'm like, hey, this is your thing, run with it, bring me your ideas, let's brainstorm. Like, you do a really good job at this, I want you to focus on this. And a lot of times, like, they have the means to not even, they don't have to
Yeah.
ask me for everything. If you want to do something, do it. Like, as long as it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, like, let's do it, let's run with it, go.
I love that, man. Yeah, business is easy, people are difficult, and I think the right people on the right seat on the bus is like, that's the game changer, right? And it's just so nice
Yeah.
when we can get out of our own way and just let people flourish in their giftings, because there's things
Exactly.
that I'm like the worst at and I should just never do. Like, I have no business doing like 90% of the things like within the business, because they would just
Yeah.
like fail tremendously.
Well, I'll tell you something right now, like, for an example. I am terrible at managing any kind of books, like
Yeah.
credit cards, anything. Dude, I have no idea how much is on our credit cards right now. I'll tell you that. I'm like, admittedly, because I should not be the one tracking that. Like, I'll check in every once
Yeah,
in a
well, because
while,
you're the
like,
visionary. Of course you don't know.
yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
every business is a people business at some level, right? So thinking about your HVAC business, I want to give you a little plug here
100%. Yeah.
too. So, Joel was kind of giving me a rundown of your background. So he let me know like you've got a brand for your HVAC business that's been built upon like being Tulsa's most trusted in the business, right? So what did you do? Like what was the key to your
Yeah.
success to really
Yeah.
earning that trust, when you're out there every day?
Yeah. So when me and my partner founded the company, honestly, it was literally built around that foundation because we're both from the industry. There's a
Yeah.
lot of scammy companies in the industry, just dirty. I mean, like I've seen some terrible things. And that was what we wanted to change. Like not everyone needs a new HVAC system. Breaking news, by the way. Sometimes it's a $500 fix, But we just wanted to be remembered. We want to be known for that because not only is it the right thing to do, but there's plenty of money in service work. And arguably sometimes there's more money in service work. There's just no reason, I take the owner of Hobby Lobby, for example. He has this funny story of, Hobby Lobby has these 50% off
Yep.
sales all the time, like around Christmas, like right now they're having one. And I was actually listening to him on a panel a couple weeks ago, and he said the question they asked him was, "How do you do these sales? Like, what are you doing?" And you donate, I can't remember, a ridiculous amount of money. It might be 50%. And he goes, he says, I don't know how to explain it. I've had every accountant hired in the world. They can't explain it, but ever since I've been doing that, my revenue has doubled. And so it just goes back to if you do the right thing, word spreads like wildfire, especially in a market like Tulsa. And if you do the right thing, like people are going to remember that. And, I venture anyone to go look at our reviews and read them. And because I'll say for certain, like that's something we're definitely known for in the market.
Man, yeah. And reputation is such a big thing. And it's crazy to me that like you would even risk being scammy to agree. And just do what you say you're gonna do should just be common sense. But that actually happened to me. You said I laughed because you said breaking news, not everybody needs a new HVAC system. So that actually happened to me. So like obviously I don't need to call like, the big box HVAC company, but this is a while back. It was like on a Sunday. So I ended up calling a big box company because I was like, okay, it's a Sunday. It's the middle of the summer. That's the only person I could call. And my wife's like, you need to call someone. So I was like, I'm going to call them because I can't get my buddy to come out here and take a look. So they came out here. They gave me a whole spiel and they're like, you need to replace both your units. And it's going to be, I think it was like no joke. I think it was like 25, 30 grand.
Yeah.
You have to do all of this stuff and then we'll put you on this payment plan here. I need you to sign today. And I was like, no way. We're waiting till Monday, 24 hours. And then I had my buddy come out and like you said, probably like a $500 fix. And those things ran until I ended up like selling the house. They never needed to be fixed. It was crazy. Yeah. So I'm thinking like, man, I feel bad for the folks that are like putting in 30 grand where it's just not even needed. To me, that's wild. It's so wild.
And I mean, it happens 50 times a day, at least.
It's crazy, dude.
So
trust is a big thing. Trust is
for sure.
So what does it, so we're talking about trust, but like within the company too, and we're talking about people, which is also super important. What does a healthy company culture like mean to you? Just beyond like the buzzwords of, culture and core values and stuff, but like healthy company culture for you.
Yeah, I mean, it means everything, right? Like we cut out some cancers of the company this summer in our busiest time of the year. Like that's when we do 70% of our revenue. But if you have a cancer in your company, like it bogs everything down. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is what it is. We specifically hire around like our core values, and we're very upfront in like the interview process with that as well. And I don't really care if you're the best technician in the world. If you have a shitty attitude and you like to gossip about people all day, like you're not going to work here. And that's something that we're very upfront with because it's, again, like our whole foundation of when we founded the company was built on these things, right? And that was one of them. I hated the fact about blue collar industries, how they would just talk crap about each other all day in a negative tone. And I tell people when we're interviewing them, if you do that, you are fired. Like there's no questions asked. If I hear it, you're done. Like, we don't tolerate that here. Like, we like to get shit done. We like to have fun.
Yeah.
And we want to grow this thing, but we're not doing it with a bunch of, bad attitudes. It's not going to happen.
Okay, so
Yeah.
follow-up question to that. Thinking back on the evolution of the business and, getting the right people, going through that interview process, creating that culture, what systems or habits would you say created the biggest jump in your business performance?
The systems and habits, like, I have to, give my credit to the EOS system that we did.
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, which if I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. And it's not cheap, but it's worth it because it gives you a clear roadmap of where do you really want to take this thing? Like, what and why are you doing it? Are you doing it? And there's no wrong answer to that, right? Like, I tell people all the time, look, I'm going to sell this company for probably a ridiculous amount of money. And that's the goal. And it's okay to have that goal. It's okay to have financial goals.
Sure. Yeah.
But what does that look like? It's not just about that. What are you doing to get that, right? How many families are you enhancing the environments of? That's our saying. We enhance people's environment to get to that goal, right? So
Right.
it's not just, we're going to sell it for X millions of dollars and that's what we're going to do. You have to have a clear roadmap. And once you get that figured out, it makes the whole team, which is important, makes everybody see where we're going, not just, and I'm talking everybody, like VAs, people in office here, the technicians, salespeople, everybody knows exactly where we're going. And when they know that, they know how to work.
Yeah. And for the audience too, just in case you're not familiar with EOS, that's the Entrepreneur Operating System, and that comes from Traction. We'll go ahead and leave that in the show notes as well. Wonderful. Highly recommend you look into that if you are in business at all for any reason, or real estate for sure. But if you're talking about exit too, man, I'm also thinking, like, depending on, like, let's say we're looking towards the future now, hypothetical way out, or not even hypothetical, but we're looking way out now. And you sell the business, then legacy too, depending on whose hands it's exchanging to. So it's going to be the stuff that you've done now, but like someone's also carrying the baton forward, the stuff that you might not see as well. So I think it's really cool, the carrying on of that as well. So another question on this, as far as the business is concerned, but like, what financial principles has kept you in the game so like this long, right? So you've been in the game a long time, whether it's real estate investing or business in general. So like, one of the rules I have is like, just stay in the game, right? And sometimes that's that difficult, and there's ups and downs, and there's, the market crashes or whatever, and you see people just fall out of the game. And sometimes you just have to stay in the game. So like, what financially or whatever have you done to like be able to protect yourself to stay in the game? As simple as that may sound, it's not as simple as it is in real life and in practice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that definitely helped me stay in the game is, back in 2020, I was only a year, 2 years into the business of real estate, and I probably bought like 27 doors that year. And so it was literally like, I'm going to go bankrupt or this is going to work. And I'm not saying everyone should do that, by the way, because it's stupid. But it's kind of how I've always been. I have a very
Step-by-step guide.
Yeah, I have a very high risk tolerance. But to answer, I mean, really for me, it's more about adaptability, and it brings it to today, where like, obviously it's been a tough market over the past few years. And it's kind of shocking to me when I see guys on Facebook that should know this stuff. Like, they've been in the game for so long, and then you see them posting stuff where like, oh, this won't sell. Like, why is it not selling? And I'm like, dude, because it looks like shit. Like, I don't understand. Like, people are still stepping over dimes to save pennies. It blows my mind. Like, again, it goes back to, if you're not good at something, like, hire it out. It's 2025, bro. Like, get on Etsy. There are plenty of design people that you can get done for $1,500.
Right.
And everyone's going to say, oh, $1,500. Yeah. Well, sitting on the market for 6 months and dropping your price by 30K is a lot more expensive than $1,500. So if you and your spouse do not have a knack for design, hire it out, please. Because I promise you, like, my stuff's not sitting right now, and there's a reason. Like, it's either a price problem or a design issue, because it's a buyer's market, and we should all know this by now. You have to adapt, right? Yeah, in 2020, you could have literally put up anything, and it would have sold in, a week. You know, people are shopping for payments. So they're going to be shopping for the perfect house. What are the wow factors that you're putting into the house? And if you're building houses, which I am, why the f are you putting shower inserts in your bathrooms? Like, what are we doing? Like, they're not buying an apartment, they're buying a home. Tile's not that expensive. You know, I see builders doing this stupid stuff all the time, like not putting in shower glass and waiting till the TRR. And it's like, makes me want to pull my hair out, dude. The simple stuff that, or not putting lights in closets, stuff like that. I'm telling you, the writings, like, if you don't believe me, just go look on Zillow. Like, these houses that don't have these things are literally sitting, and the ones that do, they aren't. Because again, it's a buyer's market. People are payment shopping, so they want the perfect home. And if they walk in and something's wrong with it, they're gonna walk out and not submit an offer. It is what it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Adaptability and being able to recognize how to pivot. And again, business is easy, people are difficult. I'll say it again because we get in our own way. I think it's really helpful. You mentioned a mentor early on in the episode, and I think it's really helpful to have somebody in your corner, whether that's a spouse or a good friend or a business partner or somebody that can maybe take a look from the outside to maybe check you sometimes because you might be blinded to
100%.
it. But you don't want to be the last person on the Titanic before it hits the iceberg. You definitely want to jump off that ship because, yeah, the iceberg is there and the ship is going to sink. We know what the story is. So you want to make sure that you have the foresight to be able to get off of that and make the pivots. So, yeah, man, I just,
Joel,
couldn't agree more on that.
you doubled down and I'll triple down. So taking a super quick detour, this is not something I would normally be doing, but I had a friend in town who wants to get into ranching of all things. So I'm out on this regenerative local farm up in Sherman, Texas, all day Tuesday. And this guy reiterated just all day long. It's about adaptability to be able to survive in agriculture. And, he's competing against all these big names in agriculture. Like, it's so industrial in this country. And it was just adapt all day long is what he was preaching to my friend who's interested in getting started. So I just found that interesting. I think you nailed it with your answer there, Logan. You can get go ahead.
Well, if you don't believe us three, like look at what Coca-Cola just did, right? Coca-Cola, we all know, is not good for you. They have a massive brand. They're never going to sink. They own a ton of companies, but they just bought Olipop, which is a totally different niche.
Right.
That is a healthy, healthier prebiotic soda that someone like Coca-Cola is never going to be able to break into that market. So what they do, they bought them.
Right.
And that's what adaptability is right there.
100%.
And that's coming from a Fortune 500 company that obviously recognizes how important adaptability is.
Power. Yeah, at the highest level, for sure.
Yeah. So get as vulnerable or not if you want with this one, whatever you feel comfortable with. Is there a story from your experience in business that you've never told publicly that you think maybe would help somebody listening today?
That I've never told publicly? Probably not. I mean, I can reshare a story that I've shared publicly. It's been a long time. Yeah. I'm pretty open on social media, so I can't think of anything that I haven't told, but I do have a story. It was like my third wholesale deal ever, right? And for context, I'm not making a lot of money at this point. My first couple deals, I think my first deal was $2,500. My second deal was for $5,000. And so this was my third one. And it was like another like $8,000 assignment fee. And by the way, I quit my job after a $2,500 assignment fee. Again, I have a super high risk tolerance.
Yeah. That's more than me, brother. Higher risk than me.
So actually there is part of the story that I didn't tell, but I'll tell it here. So I was at lunch with with a local investor, and we were at like McAllister's or something, and I swiped my card and it declined for like a $12 sandwich, and I was like, uh-oh. So I checked my bank account and it was like negative $800. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy crap. Like, and it was like a credit card bill or something that had come through, and the bank approved it. And my wholesale deal, it was like a week away from closing, and 2 days before the closing, the buyer wanted to come do like another inspection. Well, crackheads had broken into the property and ripped out like all the electrical wiring. And he was like, I'm out. Like, no deal for me. And I was like, at this point, you know, I'm negative $800 in my bank account. I have literally zero money. I have rent due, truck payment due, all this stuff. And I woke up the next day at like, I don't know, 4 or 5 a.m., went on a run, like, and I was just like so angry because I I pretty much felt like I had given it my all. I put my back against the wall. I burned the boats.
Yep.
And I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, I'm going to have to go start interviewing for a job. Like, and then I was like, you know what? Like, today, I'm literally not stopping until I find a buyer. I have like a day left on the contract, by the way. And I might have called every single buyer in Tulsa County that day. And I found a buyer and got it sold within a day. So that goes to show, like, even at your worst, like, never give up, just keep going. If you have a deal and you know it's a deal, you can sell it. But yeah, that was a pretty, you know, scary situation for me, obviously, because it's not like, you know, looking back, $800 wasn't going to ruin my life, but it definitely could have sent me on a completely different path than what I ended up on.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
How many calls do you think that was?
That day?
Did you call Joel?
Over 100 for sure. I don't know if I did call Joel.
No, I don't think so. I was selling too. I probably wasn't buying, but anyway. Well, I think you answered part of this already, but I'm going to ask this anyways. This is one of our final questions. I think this will be fun for the audience too. So if everything you built so far, which is a lot, disappeared tomorrow, what skills or principles would allow you to rebuild it?
If we're going to, I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back since that's kind of part of the question, but I think it's also important, without being egotistical, you need to recognize your own strengths too.
100%.
But my strength is definitely just getting in the room and getting people to like me. And that goes to show with like my adaptability, or like code switching, or whatever you want to call it, right? Because I have a rough background, but I can still walk into, you know, a penthouse with a billionaire and get on that level if I need to. And it's all about just half of life, half of sales, half of anything is getting the person to like you, right?
Yeah.
Whether, and you know this, like, especially in wholesaling and real estate and everything, the seller likes you, they're going to sell to you. And no matter what the price is, right? Like, you obviously have to be within a range, but they're going to sell to you over somebody if they like you and trust you. And that goes for anything. If our team goes into a house to sell an HVAC unit and we're a couple grand more than, you know, one man show, but that person likes and trusts and believes that, you know, we're going to be around in 10 years whenever they call for their warranty part, like, they're going to use us.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for me, you know, at least in my personal investments. Like, I don't really like using contractors that I don't think aren't going to be here in the next 5 years whenever, you know, they need to come fix their work or anything like that. But I'm getting off track. But yeah, the skill for me is, you know, I truly believe that if everything disappeared, I could get into some role of sales and make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Connecting. Yeah. I love
That makes sense.
Connecting. Yeah.
Well, before we wrap for today, folks are maybe wanting to know more about you, or ways to connect with you, or, you know, trying to get in touch with you about your HVAC business or your real estate investing business. Like, what are the best ways for the listeners to be able to connect with you, Logan?
Yeah, not Facebook Messenger. I hardly check that, just FYI, but pretty much anything else, like Instagram. I post a lot on X, do a lot of business posting on there. You can just look up my name, Logan Haskett, on anywhere. Not LinkedIn either. I don't ever check LinkedIn, but pretty much Instagram, X. Yeah, and they can reach out anytime. I try to respond to everybody and, you know, be a helping hand to anybody that I can. But yeah, and I need to start. It's a good thing. I need to start posting. I need to start posting more on Instagram like I used to.
Perfect. Well, we will make sure to include that in the show notes. Just wanted to say thanks for coming on, and there's a lot of really good meat in that conversation today. So I think the listeners are really going to get a lot out of this one. And, you know, thanks for openly sharing, transparently sharing. Really appreciate it, man. So that is it for us today on the Fund, Flip, Repeat podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you all next time.
Thanks,
Awesome.
man.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Yes, sir. Later.